Hey everybody, John here with Adventures in Wrenching. Today we're going to be spending a little bit more time on Project 944. As you can see right down here. Where we last left off was taking off the cam tower. Well, I've got a little bit of light left, but now that I can actually do this without scorching my fingers right off my hands, we're going to go ahead and see about loosening up the exhaust system maybe a little bit and tackle the head. Probably won't get that far because the light's starting to go away, but hey, we're going to do what we can do. So come along for the ride. Okay, you can see right down in here that you got all of these bolts going across here. This is about a 12 or a 13, I'd say a 13 inch, and we're going to 13 millimeter, my bad. And we're going to go ahead and get a wrench and start trying to break those loose. Trying to go a little more high tech here. Actually use a tripod rather than try to hand hold this with one hand and wrench with the other. That really seems kind of stupid, doesn't it? Well, there's not a lot of room. I'll probably try to use a socket in there. That might work. Pain in the rump here. It's not a lot of room. Now, I guess if I was a smart mechanic, I'd go ahead and remove the oil filter because I'm going to have to change the oil on this anyway. I can already see some leaves down in here, little leaves, but I wasn't worried about it because I'm going to be pulling the head off and cleaning all this up anyway. Vacuum all this up, try to get it a little bit cleaner. Well, I'm going to fast forward this a little bit because I'm not going to bore you with taking bolts off until I run into something that's a little bit odd or unusual. Okay, I'm staying with my theory that this hat actually had some major work done to it. This gasket, even though it came out in pieces, was not stuck on the head at all. This head has definitely been almost like either wire wheeled or cleaned off. And these exhaust bolts are not on here tight at all. I mean, certainly tight enough to hold it on and keep it from leaking. But a car with 200,000 miles on it that has actually been driven and is like 25 years old, 35 years old, if these hadn't ever been off before, I would be fighting this hard, and I'm not. So in a way, that's good news, but it still shouldn't have broke like it did. Okay, I've had enough of this. This coolant tube is coming off. Oh, darn it! Hold on. It's going to come off if I can not drop my screwdriver. See if I can do this without destroying the hose, because yes, I got to wire wheel and clean that off, son. Especially down at this end. Look at the corrosion that's down on this end. Really? There we go. There you go. Okay. I could probably salvage this, but there's definitely some corrosion on this end, and definitely some corrosion on that end. But we'll clean this all up. Now I can get to the rest of those bolts. Well, you can get all the nuts off the exhaust except for number 2 and number 3 right here because it runs into the curve. So since they're all off, I should be able to, in theory, maybe I have to get a little hammer or something and tap on this, but we should be able to separate this out. Let me go get a small hammer, or get a bigger screwdriver and a bigger hammer. There we go. Now I should be able to pull those last two bolts off there real quick and slide this the rest of the way off. You would think, there we go. And I have a nice little cubby hole up here that I can hide this in for the moment before I go get a baggie so I can put all this stuff in there. Well, that's interesting. I got a choice, but I think I'm going to pull the head off and do it that way. Because my other choice would be to go down and drop the exhaust pipe, which would seem to make sense, but I don't know that I have enough room to even pull this out anyway. So I'm going to have to loosen the head up, and I think it's just these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think it's just these 10 bolts. Okay, well, we're starting to get dark, and I might go ahead and call this a night, and we will come back in a little bit. It is the next day, and I am back at the push. A little bit earlier to where I have a little bit of light as the sun goes down behind me, and it was only supposed to be 108 degrees today in the middle of September. But I got more light now, and I can kind of see what else I'm going to have to pull off on this. I got the exhaust manifold off. I did have a few minutes left off camera, and I got the head bolts off. But there are some things that are still holding it up. It looks like it actually rests right there. So maybe it's just these two. Well, let me get a few more tools and see what else I need to pull off. Okay, got it. These two H6 Allen head bolts did the trick. Just a little prying and the head's going to come off now, in theory. That's probably going to wind up coming with it, so I may have to see if I can pull it off together, or if I'm going to have to disconnect that. And I'm going to be pulling a lot more off on this so I can clean a lot more of it before I put it all back together again. And as you can see, these hoses are brittle. I got to replace all of that. The reassembly is not going to be near as haphazard as it seems like I'm doing right now. So anyway, head's coming off. Well, there's no way this head's coming off with this back hose on. So let's get the injector rail out of the way. Loosen this up, see if it breaks. A lot of these hoses are multi-sized hoses, which means that one end is different size than the other, which really kind of sucks, because why would you do that? The flow of liquid is going to restrict down to the smallest size anyway, so why have one large size and one small size when you can just make it all one size? Engineers kind of baffle me. Sometimes why they do things. I mean, that's one of the reasons that I like working on cars. It's another reason that I really like working on old cars, because some of their engineering is like totally bizarre. I also get to find out how corroded a lot of this stuff is when I pull these hoses off. See how much trouble I'm going to be in when I get ready to pull all this back together. Oh, okay. Got it. Oh man, are you kidding me? I didn't even touch that. Well, I'm going to be getting this thermal switch replaced for sure, because it snapped off. Darn it. I'm going to have a little bit of an issue here, I think, getting the wiring out of the way. Also going to have a bit of an issue because I can't lift it high enough without getting this exhaust out of the way. And I don't think the exhaust is going to come off without the exhaust pipe coming all the way off, which means that I'll probably have to jack the car up and get underneath it and try to undo the exhaust completely from down at the exhaust. Crap. Down in the bottom here, there it is, right where the screwdriver is pointing, there's 3 bolts holding on the exhaust manifold slash header, and I am pretty sure that is going to have to come off, because these bolts, well, that one came off enough, so did that one, so did that one, but that one no, and it's hitting right here. Well, doesn't that about suck? Alright, I'm going to have to contemplate this a little bit, see if I can figure out a way. Maybe I can lift everything higher. Alright, let me put this camera back away and try a little different. Well, I am not going to get away from having to pull this exhaust system out. So, got the car jacked up, got a frame stand underneath it, nice and safe, nice and solid. And up inside here, quite a ways, I got some bolts, but I think it's these right here, and I could be wrong. It could be these 3 right here. Either way, I've got 6 bolts. This is a dual exhaust system, which is also kind of strange. Well, it is and it isn't. It's got 2 pipes coming off the head. There, how about that? It's got 2 pipes coming off the head that then goes into 1 pipe, catalytic converter, etc., etc. So I'm going to have to work on those, and it's starting to get dark, so it might wind up being tomorrow again. There's always tomorrow. So I should be able to get the head off on my next session. So that's when you're going to see me in your time in about a second. Okay, next day, and it's still hot. Just the way life is in Arizona when it's still September. And but got some wind today. Unfortunately, I'm still working outside. I mean, I was working on the future garage earlier in the day, trying to get that a little bit further. So I'm still working outside and will be for probably another year, but that's okay. Work continues. Anyway, we are going to get the head off this car today, and as I said a few seconds ago in video time, this is got to come off by me crawling underneath it and undoing those valve covers, or not. Yeah, I'm so hot and tired that I can't even get my car parts right. Anyway, exhaust manifolds off. So let's get to it. Okay, we'll see how that holds up. It is all 13. Ow! I just ripped the crap out of my shirt. Of course it's moving. Oh, why wouldn't it? Will that fit over the top, I hope? Because I need this to lock. It does. Good. Oh, are you kidding me? Oh, it's going to be one of those. Alright, this is going to be almost impossible to do. Well, that one seems to be coming loose. What the hell? Alright, I'm going to shut this off because I'm going to have to get a breaker bar on this thing. Well, when in doubt, use a bigger wrench. I've already got it loose a little bit. But it wasn't easy. I thought it would break. And it turned out it didn't. That's a good start. So I got 2 out of 3 now. One more and I can get this pipe off, or at least that half of the exhaust manifold off, I hope. Now let's see if I can figure out a way to get this wrench up in there. There's no real room to get a ratchet up on top. I could probably twist this some and it'll drop on there. Well, how about flipping that over and actually trying to put a 13 on it instead of an 11? That would be nice. Hey, sweet. Success. Success maybe if I can get this. Did that jam up in there? Well, that's 3 for 3. While I'm in here, I'll probably go ahead and try and undo the other ones. Well, dang it. There we go. That jammed up in there nice and good. Alrighty, now how do I... Now how do I get up in there? Let's see if I can get an angle on the worst one. See what type of misery I can give myself here. I had forgotten I had replaced the starter on this. It's going to have all new parts at this rate. Not that that's a problem. I can't wait for my shop to be done, so I've got room, and so I can put a mini lift under here. That would be sweet. Oh, jeez. Great. Alright. We're going to see if I can get the other manifold out real quick. Maybe give myself a little more room. Maybe I won't even need it. Now, hopefully the wind isn't blurring this out too bad, but I think I've got enough room here to actually pull this off. Success! Yay! Freaking awesome! What just fell? Oh, okay. Stuff just falling all over the place, but I think that was the manifold gaskets. Okay, here's where I'm at. The good news is, when it smacked the number 2 cylinder, it did not, I don't even see a mark on it, so it didn't even dent it. Another good news is this has definitely been worked on before, because there is no ridge at all. So I should be able to, and that one's nice and clean. I definitely got some junk in there that I'm gonna definitely clean out, so we're gonna take care of all that. Okay, this is interesting. So this has been worked on before, I think, but they may have used the wrong gasket on this, because that says turbo, and this is a non-turbo motor. Never has been, unless they replaced the motor in here at some point. But definitely got some wind going on here. But we'll be able to clean all that up. I'm going to get a new head gasket set for this, definitely the correct one. Okay, you can definitely see the bent valve. I'm going to go ahead and get the spark plugs put back in it, so that it seals all this off. Now I may actually be able to get away with just cleaning these valves up and putting, except for the one, because all of the rest of these look like they're flat. But what I'll do is I will do a liquid leak test on these with the spark plugs in it, which you can, what we'll do there is fill these chambers up with like isopropyl alcohol and see if they hold. If you get tiny bubbles, or if it doesn't hold, it's going to leak. But this looks like my main culprit. I might get away pretty good on this. Clean it all up, put it all back together again. Wind's blowing this around. That's going to do it for today. I did get the head off. I'm going to do a little bit of other cleanup and start laying out all my parts, and definitely make this more of a proper build and see what all I need. I did find some interesting information. Don't know why the top of the head gasket says turbo on it, but everything in there seems to indicate that this this car has been seriously worked on before. So those valves the rest of those valves might be good. I'll pull them, take a look, and you'll come along for that, or at least parts of that adventure as well. Anyway, hopefully this was helpful, enjoyed a little bit. If you did, please subscribe, like, follow me on Facebook, YouTube, and share, and see you on the next adventure. Bye now.